Sometimes TJ Croak will play bass
Nice,
in his lieu, but typically Niles. And then recently Pavel Kostik, who is from the area, has been playing guitar with us.
Oh, okay. Nice. Excellent, excellent. So, I guess we already talked about influences. So you'd say like things that records your mother used to bring home kind of sparked your interest, right? Are there any artists that directly influence your music, like as of today, like?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like I'm always just trying to. I mean, not to call myself interesting. I feel like it's interesting for me to be in the position I'm at because I used to be very like genre specific growing up. I was very into what I was into and
Right.
Whatever else wasn't really for me. But I got bored. So I just started becoming interested more in people who were spoken highly of as songwriters or as performers.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I just started branching out. I got really into Nina Simone, Kate Bush,
Okay.
Roxy Music, who was this group from the '70s. But even recently, I think there's a lot of really brilliant people out there. I think Archie Marshall is really interesting.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nice. No, definitely cool. And I guess just diving into specifics like the new single. I obviously haven't gotten a chance to listen to it yet, but would you say that those those artists you mentioned inspired the new single as well, or is there anything that you want to specifically talk about that drove you to putting out this song?
Right. Yeah. So the track itself is called "Mickey the Knife," which there's a I guess you could call it an opera in the 1920s by Bertolt Brecht and Kurt Weill, not Vile, but Weill, Germany. It was sort of a socialist commentary on the capitalist world they were in at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called the Threepenny Opera, and one of the characters is Mac the Knife, so Mickey the Knife was just sort of a skew on that. And then, yeah, I don't know, I was really interested in the Philly soul stuff that was happening in the earlier, I guess, to mid-'70s.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was listening to a lot of that stuff and just everything else, Talking Heads, that kind of stuff at the same time, so it was just somewhere in the middle of all that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Very cool. I'm just gonna throw some questions at you, and whatever comes to mind comes to mind. If you were to collaborate with any musician, dead or alive, who would you pick?
Dead or alive? Wow.
Yeah. I'm putting you in the spot.
I could just make a power move and just go John Lennon.
Okay.
But that feels like a cop-out.
I mean, I respect it.
So, I don't know.
Sense.
Maybe Philip Glass. That would be really interesting.
Ooh. Okay. And I kind of went over this a little bit, but like how did the band start? Like how did you get your people together and who you wanted to play on this and that? Or
Yeah.
is there anything you have to say on that?
I don't even really know anymore. It all just kind of happened. One day I woke up and I had a band and I was like, all right, cool.
There you go.
Let's go with it.
That's great. Well, let's see what else we got here. I definitely came prepared, so that's good. It's always good. So I want to talk about radio a little bit, since we are on the radio right now.
We are indeed.
Believe it or not. But I just wanted to ask you, do you think that FM radio is important to the music industry, and like still to this day? Like,
Yeah.
how do you think it plays a role?
I think something that's really underrated is the fact that college radio is still, I mean, not only college radio, but considering we're on college radio, is still a very powerful tool for getting music out there to certain audiences. I mean, college. Those are, people who are good to not only, get good music too, because, younger people are the people who are more actively involved in music, just as a fan. But beyond that too, I just think it's really important because you can use radio as, you can with music to get certain information out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without being too, I don't want to be propaganda here, but it...
No, I know we talked about it a little bit before the show too. Yeah. I definitely agree on that, and it definitely still plays a role for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't really, people underestimate because I mean, streaming is so easy.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean it's a really underestimated tool, and it's still very important, I think, especially I mean, just in terms of getting stuff out there, because it's like, yeah, you could put something on Spotify, but you know,
Yeah.
that only goes so far. You sort of
Right.
have to make sure it's out there if you want it to be out there. You don't have to put it out there. You can make music because you enjoy it. I'm not judging you.
That's right. That's right. So moving on, do you have any major memories with the radio that you would share? Like, is there anything specific about the radio that you've had experience with that that kind of, like, I don't know.
First thing that comes to mind is around Halloween time when they would play Will Smith's Nightmare on My Street.
Oh my.
That and that Adam Sandler Hanukkah song.
Oh yes, that's a personal favorite right there.
Yeah, I guess those are two very artful, important examples. Yeah, no, I mean, I wish I could be more coherent with this one. I guess I haven't really thought about that too much, but I mean, it's definitely a very pivotal tool to use. I mean, people, you know, are so informed by radio and
Right.
maybe don't acknowledge that because typically it's like, I'll just put it on in my car or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, particularly when I was younger, I can just think of like all of the music that was so important to me growing up, like Outkast and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was just all over.
Yeah, and you think about, like, I mean, I guess I don't think about it all the time, but you think about, like, how much you're in a car
Mhm.
and in our childhood, you know, like, just hearing these songs played over and over,
Yeah.
or, like, you know, with the big commercial radio stations, it definitely, like, influences that way.
Which is also important to know too, because one thing that I think, just going back to the whole power of radio idea and all that, you know, the bigger stations and all of that are so very, as of late, just so incredibly monotonous.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Not to attack anyone, but you know,
No,
imagine what having control of those sorts of stations in the wrong hands could be. So now imagine what that could be in the right hands.
Right, exactly. No, I definitely have my views on major commercial radio, you know, top 40 hits stuff, and
There's a lot of fun stuff happening, but that's all it is fun stuff.
Right.
I think of that quote in Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, which I'll probably not get verbatim, but it was something to the effect of, you know, this guy going off about, I think there was all this like mindless information overload of just like bad television that meant nothing, and this guy goes, you know, Hamlet is so much better than this. What is this? What is the artistic purpose
Right.
of this? And the guy goes, oh, it's, you know, its sense is itself. It is a lot of agreeable sensations for the audience.
Right. Huh. Well, awesome. So I already asked that question. Okay. So transition.
Yes.
Do you have any tour dates or anything up and coming that
Yes.
in the horizons?
I'm playing a lot in December. December 5th is the next one, which is in Brooklyn at this place called the Caffeine Underground, which I just learned serves coffee with CBD in it.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of CBD, but I never
Yeah,
heard of
yeah,
it
in coffee. Yeah, it
that's-
seems kind of counterproductive. It seems like
Yeah.
they would cancel each other out.
Right, CBD is supposed to relax you, and then coffee's like, you know,
Picks you up,
yeah,
yeah.
the caffeine high.
December 6th, we are playing in New Haven at Stella Blues.
Nice.
And then December 8th, we'll be in Danbury at O'Brien's, I believe.
O'Brien. Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah,
Okay, it's off
we'll be playing there.
Lake Ave or something.
And then December 15th, Nacho House in New Paltz, New York.
Nice.
December 28th in Brooklyn again. We're talking about one in January. Yeah, we're doing
Awesome.
a lot. Yeah.
That's good to hear, honestly. I'm gonna have to make my way out for sure. Anyway, do you have any closing remarks to say? Anything to tell the people? Any news, upcoming news, or
Stay in school, brush your teeth, read a book, please.
Yeah.
Please. I'm not condescending, I'm sure you are, but please read another. You're loving those books, they're so good.
stay
And
tuned.
I will have music out there soon, so stay posted if you would like to.
Awesome. Well, Mickey, thank you so much for taking this time to come in and talk.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited about the future things.
Thank you.
I fully support, and I wish the best.
I guess a praying symbol doesn't translate on air, but I gave him a praying symbol for you out there who can't see it.
Well received. Anyway, that being said, I think it's time to play the single. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's pass the aux cord.
Pass that aux cord. Thank you, darling.
No problem. All right. Once again, you're listening to 91.7 WXCI. We're here with Mickey Blurr. He's debuting his new single, Mickey the Knife. And definitely check out the Spotify, Bandcamp, right? What platforms are you on?
Yeah, I'm on all the above. Bandcamp, Spotify, SoundCloud,
Cool.
etc., etc. This one is not live yet. You are hearing it first here. It will be live online on Friday.
Awesome. So if you're listening, you're getting a sneak peek.
Sneakity
A
peekity.
little sneakity peekity. All right, let me know when you're ready.
Oh, one
Okay.
last closing
Yeah,
remark.
absolutely.
I forgot. I always leave this out, but this is the most important. Little Richard is the king of rock and roll. That's it. Okay.
Facts.
Yes. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Once again, you're listening to 91.7 WXCI Danbury. Mickey Blurr's single, Mickey the Knife. Can you turn it up on your computer a little bit?
Yes.
There we go. Awesome. That was my first interview.